attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league.
Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to higher television ratings and increased attendance figures, the credit doesn't solely belong to the league itself. It belongs to the players who light up the league with their performances, and in this case, her popularity was unmatched, a prime opportunity to boost your bottom line. This should have been recognized and leveraged from the start, yet it was overlooked. Stephen A. Smith, known for his direct and forceful critiques, delivered one of his most searing yet. As he delved into the issues plaguing the WNBA under the leadership of Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, he voiced the deep-seated frustrations felt by fans and analysts alike. This was no mere quibble over a single decision. It was a clarion call drawing attention to the overlooked potential of one of the league's most luminous stars, Caitlin Clark. Her case was met with hesitancy and resistance. Not only was she not pushed for inclusion in Team USA, but figures like Cheryl Swoops seemed reluctant even to utter her name. Picture a scenario where the league appears to be thwarting its most electrifying, transformative player, the very player eager to champion its growth. Clark's debut season was nothing short of historic, pulling in record-breaking crowds and sending viewership soaring, reinvigorating the fan base. Yet, instead of capitalizing on this surge, the league's response was disappointingly subdued. This begs the question, can the WNBA fully harness its potential, or is it doomed to falter? As we delve deeper, we will explore the critical issues that suggest a league at a pivotal crossroads, with Stephen A. not mincing words on what's at stake if transformative changes aren't made. Remember to subscribe to our channel as we break down these issues. Are you ready? Let's dive in. It's commonly noted that other NBA and WNBA players often go unrecognized. Their contributions, though significant, are overlooked and underappreciated. The reality is stark. Despite years of dedication, the broader public has remained indifferent, that is, until Caitlin Clark burst onto the scene. When Stephen A. Smith shares his insights, his fervent and intense delivery makes people sit up and listen. This time, he set his sights on the WNBA, specifically targeting its long-standing players and the decisions of its leadership under Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Smith unleashed a scorching critique, pointing out the league's failure to acknowledge and harness the explosive potential of Caitlin Clark, whose performances on the court were nothing short of revolutionary. Smith's remarks pierced directly to a concern whispered quietly for too long, a significant misalignment between the on-court talent and the executive decisions in the league's upper echelons. His frustration underscored a troubling pattern. How could the WNBA ignore its brightest star? A star whose influence could have significantly bolstered the league's stature and solidified its financial success. Yet this opportunity was squandered. They simply didn't seize it. A recent incident that captures the essence of the league's oversight occurred during the celebrated Assist Week, a time when the WNBA completely mismanaged Caitlin Clark's groundbreaking assist total. Imagine setting a historical record only to have the league misreport the actual figures. The error was so egregious that it led to the tweet being fact-checked and subsequently corrected. Initially, the WNBA announced Clark's assists for the season as 321, when in fact she had achieved 337. The error was so significant that it required deleting the original post after community backlash. Furthermore, when it came time to honor Clark's achievements, the recognition was disappointingly minimalistic. Clark was informed she was Rookie of the Year through a mere phone call in Connecticut during a practice session before a playoff game. A scenario so understated it seems almost fictional. Stephen A. Smith's impassioned critique struck a chord not merely because of his signature intensity, but because he articulated a sentiment long felt by fans and players alike. This situation wasn't solely about recognition. It was fundamentally about respect, proper investment, and the league's capacity for growth. The clear message was this: if the WNBA fails to support a standout talent like Clark, then what does that signify for other emerging stars? Smith's analysis went beyond pinpointing a marketing mishap. He identified it as indicative of deeper structural flaws within the league's framework. The WNBA's reluctance to adopt bold initiatives and to spotlight its star players suggests a disconnection from the evolving demands of modern sports. Clark's impact was unmistakable. Her matches became must-see events that not only drew new audiences, but also rekindled the enthusiasm of long-standing fans. Yet, despite the apparent increase in television ratings, attendance, and franchise value, the league's leadership seemed at a loss on how to capitalize on this momentum. This hesitance to address and openly discuss the implications of these failures poses a significant risk to the league's future development. This mismanagement casts long shadows over the league's prospects. Fans are clamoring for transparency, a more dynamic promotion of their favorite athletes, and a genuine commitment from the WNBA to enhance the sport. Without these critical elements, even the most promising seasons risk fading into obscurity. The narrative extends beyond merely boosting viewership. It's about cultivating trust, instilling confidence, and projecting a forward-thinking vision in a competitive sports landscape. Smith's urgent call for reform underscores the pivotal moment the WNBA finds itself in, with Clark emblematic of the league's potential zenith. As we ponder the impact of Smith's critique, we must question whether it will ignite real change or simply vanish as yet another forgotten moment. Is there a possibility for transformative leadership within the league, or is a more radical change necessary? If you're engaged and invested in our discussion, don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate notifications. We value your time and engagement as we continue to delve into these pressing issues. Now, let us consider the oversight of not fully championing Caitlin Clark from the beginning. The potential for heightened attention was there, ready to be harnessed, yet it was initially bypassed. Now, albeit belatedly, there seems to be a shift to correct this course. But one wonders, what could have been if these efforts had been timely? When Commissioner Cathy Engelbert spoke on national platforms like 60 Minutes and CNBC's Power Lunch, the community expected affirmations of support for Clark and a clear strategic vision. Instead, her responses did little to assuage concerns of a disconnect within the WNBA's leadership. Engelbert's comments, particularly her assertion that no league's ever about one player, seemed to deflect from Clark's individual achievements and dilute the focus on her record-setting season. This perspective, while perhaps aiming to highlight the collective aspect of sports, inadvertently downplayed the unique draw of standout individuals who enhance the competitive narrative and spectator interest in the league. While Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's remarks may have been intended to emphasize team dynamics, they inadvertently minimized the profound impact Caitlin Clark had on enhancing viewership, engaging fans, and injecting new energy into the league. This sentiment was met with disappointment from fans across social media who saw Engelbert's comments as a missed chance to celebrate a talent who had significantly revitalized the league. This oversight became even more apparent during Engelbert's appearance on Power Lunch, where she focused heavily on the importance of rivalries in attracting viewers, emphasizing that rivalries are what make people watch. She argued that sports fans are drawn to the drama of high-stakes games between fierce rivals, stating, "One white, one black, we have that moment with these two. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals who aren't just being nice to each other." However, this perspective overlooked a crucial aspect: the safety and fair treatment of players. Engelbert's prioritization of rivalries over significant issues such as player safety and fairness left many questioning where her true priorities lay. This was not merely a public relations misstep. It underscored a deeper misalignment between the leadership's public statements and the league's pressing on court realities. While the commissioner promoted rivalries as a strategy to boost ratings, players like Clark were grappling with inconsistent officiating and physical challenges that posed risks to their careers. This disconnect between Engelbert's focus and the actual needs of the players highlighted a troubling gap in the league's commitment to player well-being. Fans are seeking more than just thrilling matches. They demand integrity and fairness, which are fundamental to any respected sports league. Indeed, Engelbert's approach has brought the WNBA to a crucial crossroads. Players are advocating for change, fans are calling for improvements, and analysts are closely monitoring the situation. The current trajectory of leadership threatens not just to stall the momentum gained by stars like Clark, but also to harm the league's long-term reputation. Now, the pressing question is whether Engelbert can shift her focus from catchy marketing phrases to meaningful, impactful actions that address these core concerns. These leadership challenges are not isolated incidents. They are indicative of broader systemic issues within the WNBA that affect every aspect of the game and every player involved. From inconsistent refereeing to ongoing concerns about player safety, these problems significantly influence the quality of play and overall fan engagement. For instance, the variability in officiating, which can swing drastically from overly strict to inexplicably lenient, disrupts the flow of the game and creates uncertainty for the athletes about how rules will be enforced from one game to the next. This inconsistency is not just a nuisance, it poses real safety risks, particularly for players who are unable to predict the level of physical contact allowed on the court. The focus on marketing at the expense of addressing fundamental issues such as player safety has often made it appear as though the WNBA values appearances over substantive improvements. This was evident in the handling of Clark's season, where she was subjected to a disproportionate number of flagrant fouls, a concern that alarmed many observers and underscored the need for stricter safety protocols and more consistent officiating standards. These challenges extend beyond the individual players and resonate with fans who expect a well-managed, fair competition. One particularly striking example of the officiating issue was a technical foul given to Clark for hitting the ring post, an action born out of frustration after missing a shot. This incident, and others like it, are scrutinized by fans and media alike who are calling for consistency in how games are refereed. It's not just about managing the games or the immediate drama, it's about ensuring the long-term integrity and viability of the league. As the WNBA continues to navigate these complex issues, the overarching question remains: will the league acknowledge and address these deep-rooted problems before they further erode trust among players and fans? Only by confronting these challenges head-on can the WNBA hope to fulfill its potential as a premier sports league that values and supports its players as much as it cherishes its viewership figures.